It is time to breathe again on the Breath of Fresh Air Shorty, or the latest Breath of Fresh Air Shorty. And I am your host, Charles Taylor, for today. Now, I have a topic for you, and honestly, it's a topic that has been discussed a lot over the past few days. But I just wanted to give my viewpoints on what the Milwaukee Bucks and specifically Giannis Antetokounmpo did in winning the NBA Finals, winning the first title for the franchise since 1971 with a Game 6 victory 108 or 105 to 98 over the Phoenix Suns in the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee on Tuesday night, clinching the NBA title. And of course, Giannis was named the MVP of that series. So, I'm sure you guys have seen footage from the parade, the victory parade they had on Thursday. It was funny and it was just great just seeing those guys just kind of unwind after the grind of the season that it was. And I'm really, really happy. Well, I'm happy for all the Bucks, from Chris Middleton to PJ Tucker. We've seen how he gets down with champagne now. You got Bobby Portis, Drew Holiday, Brooke Lopez, the rest, Pat Connaughton, all the rest of the guys, Mike Budenholzer, the coach. Remember, he was pretty much as good as fired, and now here he is, an NBA champion coach. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But with Giannis, it's just really, really good to see a guy. Excuse me. Ooh, it's just really, really good to see a guy just stick it out with the team that drafted him and find a way to lead his team to the promised land, to the NBA title. With the NBA Finals MVP, he joined some elite company. Elite company. He joined with by winning the Finals MVP. He joined Michael Jordan and Akeem Olajuwon. Think about those names. These are all-time great players. But he joined those two guys as the only players to win the regular season MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and an NBA Finals MVP. Just those three guys. That's it for that club. And as far as winning the MVP as well, he's the fifth, I guess, player that's from outside the U.S. to win that award as well. So this is off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the other four guys, just another four guys, are Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Dirk Nowitzki. Those are the only other guys who have accomplished that. So Giannis is joining some elite company with winning the NBA Finals MVP, and the series he had was just ridiculous. Just keep in mind also, 2.5 weeks ago, or however long it was, about 2.5 or 3 weeks ago, we didn't know if this man was even going to be playing for the foreseeable future. We've all seen that horrific looking injury he suffered in game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Atlanta Hawks. And it looked like his knee was completely ripped to shreds. A lot of us thought he was gone. Now, in saying that, as I'm looking at the footage and seeing him walk off, uh, pretty much on his own power. I mean, he had some help from his brother Thanasis, but he was able to put some pressure on it. So I started thinking to myself, he might have avoided catastrophic injury here. And sure enough, he had no structural damage. So the fact he was able to come back from that injury and have this type of performance, coordinating with a 50-point performance in the NBA Finals championship clinching game, that just says so much about this man and how he just persevered, just continued to do his thing and never listened to anybody. He felt like he had these abilities and now he's starting to put it together. But one thing I also want to do is I want to bring your attention to an article I wrote about Giannis. This was actually 2 years ago after after he and the Bucks got eliminated by the Toronto Raptors in those Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, a lot of people were coming down on him, and then we know what happened in the bubble, where the Bucks went home really early compared to what a lot of people thought they would. They got knocked out in the Eastern Conference semis by the Miami Heat, and a lot of people were just down on Giannis, saying, "Nah, he doesn't have what it takes. He can't lead this team. He's just a great regular season player. He's just a great player when it comes to uh, the moments that aren't as big. But when it gets to the big moments, he shuffles away. He fades away." Well, in that article I wrote 2 years ago, which you can see on the blog site that I have, I just got on the people and how the criticism of him was just ridiculous, for the lack of a better word. It made no sense because a lot of people were saying he was disappearing from the moment. Well, if you have games, and this was his stat line in Game 6, I'm just looking at his stat line. He had, off the top of my head, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, I think 3 blocks and 2 steals, or it might be 2 blocks and 3 steals. But that's not a stat line that says a person shrunk in the moment. That's not a stat line that says a person was disappearing. And I just thought everybody getting on him, talking about he was a no show. These were the words I heard. He was a no show during that moment. It's it's a lie. It's just not true. And I also said in that article, and I'm not one, you guys know, I'm not one to toot my own horn. That's not what I do. But I'm just bringing this up to say, look, I personally, I've always been a big fan of Giannis because he affects the game in a lot of ways that really, honestly, no other player is really doing. That he can affect it by scoring, he can affect it by rebounding, blocking shots, playing good defense, one on one or help defense, and he's a willing passer. So, name a player in today's NBA who has that type of effect on the game like he does. More on that in a minute as well. But back on the article, the only thing I was pointing out really in the article was the criticism of him is just unfair and it's unjust. It makes no sense to criticize a guy who was doing other things to help his team win, and even though it wasn't enough, to say he was a no-show is just a complete and utter lie. And that's what I was pointing out in the article. I also said if this man gets a mid-range jumper, not a three-pointer, but a mid-range jumper, this man is going to turn out to be unguardable. In the NBA Finals, this started to come to fruition. He was hitting the turnaround fadeaway. He was hitting the mid-range jumper, and then he was hitting his free throws. 17 of 19 in the final game. If he hits his free throws and he's hitting a mid-range jumper, good luck to the rest of the league stopping him. That's merely what I was pointing out in the article. And here it is, coming to fruition. And now the man has an NBA Finals MVP to go with, 2 MVP regular season MVP awards, and a Defensive Player of the Year award he won last year. So, look, congrats to Giannis. I'm happy for him. I'm glad to see it, and it's definitely time for him to get that just due as one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. Because again, all these other guys that are being mentioned, Kevin Durant specifically, yeah, of course LeBron James is always in that category as well. And I still think there's a slight edge to LeBron when I look at the best player in the world. But Giannis needs to be up there for sure because honestly, who is having the effect on both sides of the court like he is? There really isn't anybody. And if you can name a player who might be on that way, who might be on that trajectory, please name them because I haven't seen them. In other words, right now, this is the guy. This is the guy who should be the face of the NBA. No, no ifs, ands, or buts about it at this point. because LeBron, he's on the back end of his career. KD is an older player. This is the man, 26 years old, and you're in a global league. You're in a league that always says they're about the world and spreading the game throughout the world. Well, who better to have spread that word and be an ambassador than a guy who's from another country doing the things he is? So, congratulations to Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks, and good luck to the rest of the league stopping this guy, because he's really only scratched the surface to the potential he can continue to reach. And if he's hitting that mid-range jumper, oof, just oof. Well, that's what I'm breathing on for today. You guys make sure y'all go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Until next time, y'all take care and have a great weekend.